The latest incident ended in an assault.
The only stories that I knew about the types of neighborhoods where we were going were things that I saw on the news.
Acts of crime committed by illegal immigrants.
They are scared to leave
hopelessness
their homes.
in the community.
That it wasn't a safe place.
Can you say my name is?
Okay. So my name is Melinda Hollandsworth. I grew up just white America. I didn't really know much about diversity. Everyone around me was pretty much the same as me.
My name is Jim Hollandsworth. There were a few folks in my high school who were different than me, but I didn't really know them well. My world was this bubble, this white, kind of church-going Christian bubble.
We definitely lived an ordinary life. Things were pretty easy for us. And I remember we were just sitting around one night after dinner and we were like, what are we doing in our community?
Melinda and I both were having this faith crisis a little bit of, hey, is this all there is?
But I remember we just sort of felt stuck that night. Like we wanted to do something, but we really didn't think there was need in our community. About a year later, we signed up to be part of a Christmas sponsorship. Jim and I volunteered to deliver the gifts. When we drove into the neighborhood, it just felt different. The colors were vibrant. There was a lot of music playing. It was unfamiliar and so out of my norm. But then also there was a great sense of community. Like the people were all involved in each other's lives. We met one family, the Ramirez family, and all the kids were there.
The 6th grade daughter in this family, her name was Maria, she asked us, hey, can you help with our homework? Because my mom and dad don't speak English.
I love to see Friday folders. I open it up and realize they're already failing everything in school. Older siblings had already dropped out of high school. The kids who were in middle school had these big hopes and dreams for their lives, but they didn't have a role model to look up to. And I had just assumed that if someone dropped out of high school, it was because that was just what they wanted to do. It never occurred to me that maybe there was a time that they wanted something different for their lives, but just the difficulty of the path knocked them off course.
And this was like this light bulb of, well, that's something that we can do. Melinda was a teacher. How easy is that? And then we said, okay, well, we'll just do homework for 2 afternoons a week. And that's when we met Sophia. It was in the spring of 2010.
We were doing homework in the neighborhood, and Sophia one day said to me, you know, Miss Melinda, when are you guys leaving? That's what people do here. They come and they stay for a while and they leave and we never see them again. And it was like punch to the face question because I could think of times when I had been the person who left.
And then a shooting happened in the mobile home park. We heard that a drug deal had kind of gone bad.
And we got in the car that day and I remember looking at Jim with panic, thinking, get me out of here, because it was just terrifying. It was more than I could really handle at the time. And I remember we sat there and Jim looked at me and he said, I think that we either choose to do something or we leave and we never come back. We sat at a stop sign, staring at that stop sign. It was uncomfortable, it was out of my comfort zone.
I had a job, we had a little baby at home.
And as much as it was a terrifying moment for us, it was also the moment where we said, okay, we're in.
We just know these people are now our friends. Let's try to figure this out. The very next week, the property manager came to us and said, hey, the home where the shooting happened is now vacant. Do you guys want it to do your homework program? So we turned this mobile home into a community center, like a classroom, to try to impact that graduation rate.
We've seen how the role models have changed. Now when you talk to the kids, they talk about where kids are in college or what the older kids are doing, and we're not the role models. It's the kids who've grown up and they've blazed a new path for the younger generation in their neighborhood. My world is bigger now than it was before. It's normal to have friends who live in homes that might look a little bit different than ours. It's normal to have friends that might speak a different language in their house. It's more whole because of the friendships with the people in the neighborhood and the people who've become family to us. When I was in the hospital for 8 weeks before my son Will was born, it was Maria, Elena, and Hortensia who came and visited me in the hospital and sat with me on one of the long days. I remember in that moment thinking, What if my being afraid had prevented me from knowing and loving these people who are part of our community?
If we give ourselves to others, it creates meaningful relationships. It creates opportunity for things to happen that would never happen by living in a safe little bubble. We didn't sit down and write out a strategic plan. It was just an organic thing. We made a ton of mistakes, but along that journey, we started to kind of figure things out.
It's definitely been difficult and bumpy at times, but I would never go back and do anything differently. They have so many gifts and talents and resources. Their lives have changed my life and my family's life.
As human beings, right, we're all connected. Why wouldn't we want to make our community as a whole a more meaningful place to live? And we're gonna find true joy and meaning in building relationships with others who are different.